First, in Revit, we're going to create the two shapes. I'm going to use the massing inside. I'm going to create two shapes, and then I'm going to transfer those shapes to Dynamo. Let's do it very quickly at level 1. And that's interesting because we have to use massing inside, we have to use in-place mass, and we have to use model lines. Don't use this line, but use the model lines. And then we have to be careful because we start counterclockwise. So I'm going to type 10. So that's the first line. The second line is 10. The third line, 10. And finally, the fourth line is like this. So we have a square at level 1. To make things simple, I'm going to copy that square, removing the constraints up to level 2. In the 3D view, we will see like two different squares. They are exactly the same, and I'm going to finish the mass. There is no solid geometry. Okay, that's fine. There are two rectangles or two squares, and then I'm going to open Dynamo. We have the Revit file, the Dynamo screen here, and first we have to select this and transfer. I'm going to transfer only these two lines to Dynamo, and then I'm going to connect them with vertical lines. Select, and I'm going to use Select Edge from Revit. So I'm going to click here, and now there's a warning, there is nothing selected, and we have to select an edge. So if I click select and go to the Revit file, I can select this first one. And immediately we can see here this. I can copy this one. I'm going to place this one at the bottom, this one at the top, and I'm going to change the selection, and I'm going to select that edge. And you see that we have here the two lines. I have rotated 45 degrees this rectangle. Okay, so we have two rectangles exactly the same, and then I rotated the top rectangle 45 degrees. I have to divide these two lines in different segments, and I want to control the number of those segments, and they have to be equally spaced. The node that I have to use is point at parameter, this one. Get a point on the curve at a specified parameter between start and end. Okay, so I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to explain what to do. So I have to plug this curve into this node, and then I have to select the parameter. So what's the parameter? That was my question. Dynamo, I want to create the points in the line, including the start and the end points, and that's the answer. So we have to define the line. We have already done it, and then I have to create a code block, and that's the formula that we have to do. So the first point is 0 dot dot, then we have 1, and then we have this n is the total number of points that I want, including the start and end. Okay, so that's exactly what I want to do. So I'm going to open Dynamo again and double click. I have this code block, and then I'm going to enter this. And what do I have? There is a warning because I need to insert an n, the number of elements here. And then I'm going to plug this here into the parameter. Okay, so what's that n? It's a number, it's an integer number, so I don't want to be a decimal. So I'm going to use the option integer slider, by default I have one, and I need a minimum of one, a maximum of 10. So if I plug this into this n value, this is what I have. If I have only one, I have only 1 point, but if I have two, that would be the second point. And if I want, remember that the distance, it was 10 units. So if I type 10, I have 10 points. I want, for example, 4. I have selected that edge. So I have the edge here, I have the line, and I need to copy this block here, the curve. No, sorry. I have to copy the block and the integer slider. There you go. So the integer slider is here, and I have to copy this curve pointed parameter. Control C, Control V, and I select curve, and I select the parameter, and this is the curve. Yeah. Okay, so I have the same structure for both lines. I'm going to explain it again very quickly. I select the edge from Revit, then I need to divide this, or I need to create these points, 4 points, or I want to control how many points I want to create. So then I need this code block. This is just the language that Dynamo uses. So we have 0, that's the starting point, dot dot 1, it's the end point, and n is the number of points that I want to insert. And I want to control this number of points. If I want to control the same number of points at the bottom line and at the top line, I can delete this one, and then I can use the same integer slider here. I think that's the correct way to do it. And can I use the same code block? Probably I will be able to use the same code block. Yes. Okay, so that simplifies the graph, and the fewer elements we have, the better. And what do I want to do now? And then I want lines connecting these points. What do I have to type? I can go to geometry, I can go to curves, then I can go to line, and in line I have this by start and end point, by start point, end point, this one. So with this node, the start point is the points that I have at the top level, at the top line, and the end point are all the points that I have at the bottom line. So by doing this, I have already created that shape, or that shape. I have created those lines. Then I can turn those lines into beams or into columns or whatever I feel like. The good thing is that here I have the parameters. So by changing this number, I can change the number of segments and the number of lines that I have here connecting these two lines, these two shapes. Do I want to do it again? Yeah, imagine that now I want to keep going and I want to connect this one and that one. Let's do it. We have to repeat this. So I have to select the edge. So I'm going to select first that edge. Then I want to select another one. I copy this, I change, and I'm going to select the top one. So you see that we have created these two, and I'm going to repeat all the process. I don't want any line here. So I have created these 2 point parameters, and then I have to connect the curve here and the curve there, and then I need the parameters, and I need the code block and the integer slider. Copy, and I just need to connect this here and that there. As you can see now, we have all these points, the same number of points. If I want a different number of points here, I can do it. If I type 4, I can have 6 lines here, 4 lines there. And finally, I need a line connecting these all the points that are start at this line and on all the points at the end of that line.